Hey up Woodlanders, morning. Back in Ross this morning, and we've got to try and get some of these Hazel. I've got an order for 50 1 metre lengths, so I've got to cut them up this morning. Plus I've got to get some poles ready for a course at the end of April, so that's another project. And then see what I can extract otherwise, and then we've got to try and get the rest of the weaving rods out this morning, well at least a trailer full. So how's your weekend been? I've been mad busy painting, I have. Woodland's looking good. Oops, a daisy. We'll have a little spin round, look. Hazel's just starting to come into leaf, so we have new shoots coming. You see that? Just there, look. That's awesome. So the copy cycle is starting again. That's amazing. I got some chainsaw problems and my oiler. Now I've got to check the chain oiler apart, and I don't want to use the chain saw without the oil working because, well, I'm going to end up cooking the bar and chain next. So all of this has got cut by hand with the bow saw, which it'll keep me warm, but it's like 10 times longer. Next job is get some weaving rods on. That was a lame throw, wasn't it? Let's do it properly.
Good load on there, and I don't want it in the yard because I want the space. They get blown over a time or two, and then I just flatten it with the straps and send the strap. There might be some satisfaction to actually running over it with a tractor. All right then, Darren. Thanks very much. See ya.
Landed. Let's get these rods off. These ones I'm hoping I might be able to take them home. I'm waiting for a reply for that one. Hopefully we'll be able to get some weaving done this afternoon. It's 11 o'clock already, so I can't help feeling the day's moving faster than I am. I'll stop talking to you guys. See you in a mo. I wanted some poles for a job at home, which involves the staircase project I've been working on behind the scenes. But what I want to do is be able to get them up here, store them in the dry, so they dry out really slowly outdoors, and then I can put them indoors, or at least under cover during the winter months. So that's what these long poles are for here. I've done a panel for a lady in Ticknall. Managed to knock out a gate this afternoon. Destined for the gardener's bother. They wanted a show gate so that people can see what's available and that it can be custom made. So I've got two more to do over there, which they are for a guy in Leicester. So I'm going to try and squeeze in another gate if I can. Right, that's another one done. So we've got two gates done, one for gardener's bothy That one's for Leicester. That's it. Go on prep for tomorrow. I actually prefer making gates than I do making panels. I don't know if it's because I make less of them, so the novelty's still there, or I mean, I enjoy making panels because I always like to see the end result, especially when I get to see them fitted as well. But the gates really do look spot on. Love them. And of course, check the back side, because that's always the awesome bit, is the split side. Amazing. Morning. Bit damp this morning. Got my hands full as well. It's supposed to be stair rods torrential this morning. Well, of course, we've gotten really much more like light rain drizzle. So the forecaster gets it wrong again. I planned my day based on the forecaster. And so this morning I'm instead going to stand underneath my barn and be in the dry making panels and another gate, and then this afternoon I'm going to go for a timber extraction so I don't get soaked. By lunchtime it'll have stopped raining, so that'll be nice. I mean, to be honest, we've had a fairly dry spring so far, because this time last year this woodland was still sopping wet and I couldn't even get the van anywhere close. We had such a wet winter the last 2 years. This winter's been really nice winter and pleasant in that we haven't had a boggy mess. And another one finished. And here's the rain as well. But it's just my hands are a little bit wet and cold. So I'll pop this one away. On to the next one. And that's another one done. It looks like it's lunchtime, and then I'm off to Jeff's to fill up a trailer full of timber. Back out at Rossiston. I'm just getting set up. Brought the Truncator out of the dust, dust it off. Ready for some logging action. Fueled up. I had to fix my chainsaw last night. So anyway, we had it apart last night and had the oiler off, and we had the filter out, and we had the pipe work off, and the rubber grommets out, and a bit of a fiddly, horrible job. But something's definitely not right, because at the back of the clutch, if you know anything about chainsaws, you might be able to heads up here. At the back of the clutch, you take the clutch off, and there's your little oil pump. It's an MS261, and there's an awful lot of wet, oily sawdust stuff stuck to the crankcase. Now, to me, in that zone it should be dry, because unless something's leaking, that area behind the clutch ought to be dry, but it wasn't. I had to get a screwdriver in there and scrape all this gunk out. Wet, horrible, sticky oil with sawdust. And so I got all that out, and I took the pump off, and I gave the whole thing a good clean. I took the filter out, and anyway, I got it back on again, and it's working, but I wouldn't say it's doing well. It's not oiling a lot, but it's definitely oil coming out. Anyway, sorry about that. I had to tell someone, didn't I? Get off my chest. Well, that's all of what I'm going to extract firewood and charcoal wires from this one. And then these poles are just for the weavers. And that is everything extracted, so I'm going to have to come back. So we've got bluebells, I believe natives. They've been a bit squashed by the quad bike, I think, but they're all coming up. Now there's a way of telling whether they're natives or not, and I think it's probably a bit too early, but let me just try it. There's a scent to native bluebells. The Spanish variety don't have a scent by all accounts, and also the Spanish ones are a lot bluer, and these are more of a purpley blue, I think. And then the other one is, I think natives hang all one way, so all the bells hang one side, whereas Spanish ones, the bells are kind of in clusters all the way around the stem. So I imagine these are natives, but it's probably a bit too early to tell, really. Yeah, it's quite nice, bit of bluebells. Imagine this in about 100 years. The whole thing, this coppice area, will be full of bluebells. Managed to get all of the trailer full of logs in the 2 baskets. It's a bit of a tight squeeze, but we got them in. So that will be all ready for next year's charcoal making. Tomorrow's job is to fit that panel down there, and also to repair a gate. So she's had a hazel gate before, I'll show you that tomorrow, but she wants it repairing, so I've got to pre-split some hazel, which is that. And also I've just found a little treat which I thought was pretty awesome. Not sure if you share my enthusiasm. Look at this. We have what I believe are wood anemones. Just there, look. So I'm not sure if somebody in my family has planted those. I'm not sure if I've planted those from a customer of mine who had absolutely loads of them in Blackford, or they came in a pot with something else and that's where it's been tipped, or they've come naturally. Now, I can't answer your questions on that, but however, I think that's totally awesome because I love the wood anemones. See, I told you to be excited by that. So I've got a little gate repair this morning. I'm using split hazel. This is hazel in the round, and it's apparently 10 years plus I think it's lasted, so it's not done too bad really. Right, that one's all done. Looking pretty smart. Nice oak gate. A micro panel installation in this little corner, mainly to stop the dog because the dog's getting out. It's good. Just swapped this blade, because I had this from brush cutting blade, which was pretty awesome, to this is an Oregon jetfit head. This is absolutely amazing in thick grass. Tough nettle, that's amazing as well. Just annihilates everything. In fact, I'd say that's one of the best strimmer line heads I've ever used. And because these are serrated, they just tear through stuff. Quite, I wouldn't say they're sharp, but they've got an edge to them. Got my fingers stuck. Got our bush cutting knocked off this morning. It's only like a bit of a grass job. I've got to put some bean poles in. I've got to go and find and cut some pea sticks if I can. Just disturbed a red ant's nest. It's in the log. There you go, look. I don't know whether you've ever been bitten by a red ant, but ooh, they do hurt. They're nasty little creatures. I suppose when you disturb the nest, you've got to expect to have a bit of bite back. You got stuck to the trailer then. Yeah, so thinking about them red ants, what's the worst thing you've been stung or bitten by? You have to let me know in the comments. Have a discussion about the worst thing you've ever been bitten by. I tell you what does hurt me, and that's horseflies. Man, they're savage brutes, they are. Which one time I was working in a local estate and I was doing some flail mowing. I got a little 2-wheel tractor flail mower, and I was flail mowing, and I got my gloves on, and this estate's notorious for its horseflies. And I got a mesh visor on, and I got like a midge net over the top of my head as well, and a scarf around my neck. I was sweating buckets, and this horsefly went straight through my gloves into the back of my hand, and because I was hanging onto the handlebars, I couldn't go anywhere, I couldn't do anything. And that day, I think, no exaggeration, I got stung about 6 times on the same hand in what I felt was the same spot. Good grief, I tell you what, it was like somebody put an electric bolt of shock through you. Anyway, that's my experience. I've not been bitten by a lion or anything like that. So I would say that's not really industry best practice, to be honest. This hazel has not had its maiden cut. It would be nice to get this into its cycle rotation, because I want to try and get more of this hazel I've got into cycle, because I'm looking at a shorter rotation than average. If I do get time in the next 2 weeks, I'd nip this off still. It seems a shame, it's almost as if I lost a good year of growth. In fact, you might have pushed me into it actually. Maybe a couple of hours and I'll have that done. That's it, you've convinced me. I'm going to do it. I don't know if you can hear the music. My next door neighbour got his disco on today. He likes his music. I think he might have got in trouble a couple of times at lockdown for having parties, but then there's been a lot of parties that shouldn't have happened in lockdown. We won't go into that. Well, I think that'll do us. Go and check on that umbrella pine. Oh, it's still alive, look. That I bought from Gardener's World last autumn. In fact, I can see what looks like swollen buds at the top. So that's awesome, because I want that to survive. Thanks guys for watching another woodlog. As always, if you're able to, try and get out and enjoy some woodland this week. See you on the next one.